Hello. Last time napag-usapan natin yung functions of several variables, no? In particular, pinag-usapan natin kung paano ma-determine yung kanyang domain and paano natin ma-visualize yung mga ganong functions. This time around, sisimulan na natin yung pag-extend ng important concepts in calculus into several variables. So let's start first by extending the concept ng limits at saka continuity. So to motivate our discussion, we can look at this example right here. Suppose meron akong dalawang functions given here. Ano raw yung nangyayari as xy approaches 0, 0? So kung titingnan natin yung dalawang functions, we can see na undefined yung ating functions at the point 0, 0, no? Bakit? That's because of this x squared plus y squared here. If we plug x equals 0 and y equals 0, basically we are doing a division by 0 here. So these two tables here shows us yung values ng f of xy at saka g of xy given a particular value of x and a particular value of y. Kung titingnan natin for values close to 0, 0, so, nasaan si 0, 0? Ito yung x equals 0, y equals 0. So, ito yung value corresponding to f of 0, 0. So, ano yung mga values near 0, 0? It would be these ones right here, no? Kung titignan natin for f of xy, yung mga values na nakukuha natin ay papalapit ng papalapit sa 1, no? For example, itong 4 corner points here, ang function value natin here ay 0.999, whereas itong apat na to has a function value of 1. Whereas kung titignan natin tong table 2, medyo hindi clear kung ano nangyayari as xy approaches 0, 0, no? For example, if I consider these values here, it seems na papunta ng 1 yung value ni g. However, if I look at these four values here, parang papunta naman ng 0 si g. Or kung ito naman ang titignan ko, it seems na papunta ng -1 yung value ni g. So ano yung nakikita natin here? For the first one, since mukhang coherent naman na papunta ng 1 yung function values, we can say ngayon na yung limit ni f of xy as xy approaches 0, 0 ay equal to 1, no? So basically, sinasabi natin here na habang yung ating input ay papunta ng 0, 0, yung value ni f naman ay papunta sa real value na 1. Whereas dito, dahil it seems na walang pinapatunguhang single value yung ating function g, we say na yung limit ni g as xy approaches, this should be 0, 0, no? Does not exist. So dito, we already introduce yung notion ng limits in such a way na iniisip natin ang limit as yung function value na pinapatunguhan nung ating function itself. In particular, ano pa yung mapapansin natin between these two tables here? Observe no na kahit anong path ang daanan ko papuntang 0, 0, for this function f of xy, it's clear na yung function values ay papunta ng 1. For example, if I take this orange path here, papuntang 0, 0, consistent na yung values ay papalapit ng 1. Same thing as if I take itong green na path here, no? So it goes from 0.455, then eventually, papunta lang din ng 1 yung mga function values. So ano yung idea here? Parang sinasabi natin na kung yung limit ni f as the input approaches the origin ay equal to 1, then dapat daw kahit ano yung daanan kong path, makita natin yung idea or yung notion na yung function values ay papunta nga ng 1. Whereas for the second table where the limit does not exist, observe na kapag namili ako ng dalawang path here, possible na magkaiba yung function values na pinapatunguhan. For example, if I take this purple path, it's as if na consistently papunta lang ng 0 yung aking function value. However, if I take this pink path right here, it seems na papunta ng 1 yung function values, no? So parang nangyayari here, another criteria for us to say that the limit does not exist is makahanap ako ng dalawang path within the domain such that yung value ng g magkaiba yung pinupuntahan. And that's actually what I want to touch first in this lesson, yung idea ng directional na limits, no? So, nung pinag-uusapan natin ay single variable, we had the notion of a left-sided and a right-sided limit. Ano yung mga yon? Basically, tinitignan natin saan pupunta si f as the values of x approaches a certain value a galing sa kaliwa. And similarly, tinitignan din natin saan pumupunta yung values ni f as x approaches a galing naman sa kanan. Tapos sabi natin before, kailan lang mag-e-exist yung limit ni f as x approaches a, dapat daw magtugma itong left-sided limit at saka right-sided limit. However, kapag nasa two variables ka na, yung directions natin, hindi na lang naman siya left or right. In fact, yung ating mga directions, they're already defined by curves, no? For example, I can take this direction right here, this direction, or this one right here. So dito, we no longer have yung left and right lang. Ang kino-consider na nating limits ngayon ay limits along curves. So paano natin siya kino-compute? Well, we have two basic versions here, no? Suppose na yung curve mo is defined as y equals g of x or x equals g of y. Ano yung pwede natin gawin here? Since we have a specific value for y and x, papalitan natin yung y dito by g of x, or for this one right here, papalitan natin si x by g of y. And ano yung nangyayari dito? Basically, kino-convert natin yung function in two variables into a function in terms of one variable. So when we are talking about limit along a curve, basically, nire-reduce lang din natin siya into a single variable limit. And as a remark, kailan lang natin masasabi na nag-exist yung limit? Well, gaya nung sinabi natin kanina, mag-exist lang itong limit ni f as xy approaches a certain point x naught y naught kapag yung limit daw ni f along any curve ay nag-exist, no? So, limit of f of xy as xy approaches x naught y naught exists if and only if, so when we say if and only if, equivalent statement sila, no? If and only if yung limit ni f as xy approaches a certain point along that given path exists for all paths C, no? So ibig sabihin, hindi enough na nag-exist lang siya para sa isang path, kailangan ay nag-exist siya for all paths passing through x naught y naught that stays in the domain of f. So once again, kailan lang natin ma-assure na nag-exist yung limit, then dapat daw nag-exist yung limit for all paths na dumadaan dun sa point na x naught y naught. So kung ito yung criteria natin for existence ng limit, kailan natin masasabi ngayon na hindi nag-exist, it's sufficient for us to either one, makahanap ng isang path where the limit along that path does not exist, or makahanap tayo ng dalawang path such that nag-exist yung limits for those two, pero magkaiba yung limit na nakukuha natin. So as an example, let's consider the function 1 over x squared plus y squared. Ang tanong ay, nag-exist ba yung limit nito? Well, one can do an intuitive guess here, no? Observe na as x and y go to 0, yung x squared papunta ng 0 and y squared ay papunta rin ng 0. So this entire thing ay papunta ng 0, 1 over 0 should be something infinite, no? But let's prove that one or determine kung nag-exist nga yung limit in a more formal way similar to this definition right here. So kung feeling ko hindi naman na nag-exist yung limit, di either kukuha ko ng two paths and kunin ko yung limit doon, or kuha lang ako ng isang path and show na hindi nag-exist yung limit along that path. So, sa pagpili ng path, we need to make sure na yung pipiliin natin, indeed, dadaan nga ng point na 0, 0. So, I think one cheap way to choose is, piliin ko na kunwari si y equals 0, no? Pwede rin namang x equals 0, pwedeng y equals 0, yun yung medyo obvious na choices, no? So if I consider y equals 0, ano yung mangyayari here? So if I want to compute the limit of 1 over x squared plus y squared as xy approaches 0, 0 along C, edi papalitan ko lang si y by 0. So ang mangyayari here is I have 1 over x squared plus 0 squared. So I have 1 over x squared. And since x na lang yung involved, ang ititira ko na lang is kung saan papunta si x. In this case, we are saying here na x approaches 0. So I have limit ni 1 over x squared as x approaches 0, which if you recall from your Math 21, should be positive infinity. And since we got positive infinity as a limit, that means for this path alone, hindi na nag-exist yung limit natin, no? So since yung limit ni 1 over x squared plus y squared as xy approaches 0, 0 along this path C does not exist, automatically, hindi na rin mag-exist yung limit ni 1 over x squared plus y squared as xy approaches 0, 0. Okay? So in this scenario, hindi natin kinailangan na kumuha ng dalawang path. Naging sufficient na yung isa kasi napakita na natin na along that path, hindi naman na nag-exist yung limit itself. So for the next example, subukan natin ito. Suppose I have f of xy equals x minus 1 squared minus y plus 1 squared all over x minus 1 squared plus y plus 1 squared. Nag-exist kaya yung limit here as xy approaches 1, negative 1? Well, what happens kapag plinag natin si 1, negative 1 here? Edi sa numerator, I have 1 minus 1. So that's 0 squared. Minus negative 1 plus 1 squared, that's 0. So I have 0 sa taas. Over x minus 1 squared is 0 if x equals 1. Tapos y plus 1 if y equals negative 1. This becomes 0 squared. I end up with the indeterminate form na 0 over 0, no? And if you recall from Math 21, 0 over 0 is an indeterminate form. So hindi pa natin talaga alam kung ano yung nangyayari here. So ano yung gagawin natin to determine kung nag-exist yung limit? Well, kung nag-exist yung limit, ipakita natin na for all paths, pare-parehong limit yung makukuha natin. Or if we want to show that the limit does not exist, either one, magpakita tayo na hindi mag-exist yung limit sa isang path, or pangalawa, pili tayo ng dalawang path, tapos pakita natin na magkaiba yung makukuha nating limit. So for this one, we need to make sure na yung pipiliin nating mga path ay dadaan ng point na 1, negative 1. So we can start first with the most obvious na paths, no? Which is yung x equals 1 at saka y equals negative 1. So let me start with the curve x equals 1. So ano yung mangyayari here? If I choose this one, edi yung mga x dito ay papalitan ko ng 1. So I have 1 minus 1 squared, which is 0 squared. Tapos dito rin, 1 minus 1 squared is 0 squared. So, magkakaroon ako ng 0 squared dito. Tapos yung y, hindi ko siya gagalawin, no? Kasi ang pinapalitan ko lang naman ay yung x. Tapos, since this is already a limit in terms of y, I can now drop yung x approaches 1 here. Ang ititira ko na lang is yung behavior as y approaches negative 1. So, I have the limit as y approaches negative 1 ng, ano yung natira? Yung negative y plus 1 squared all over positive y plus 1 squared. So, saan magre-reduce ito? So, ito ay equal to 0. So, I have negative ni y plus 1 squared all over y plus 1 squared, which I can cancel yung y plus 1 squared. Ang matitira na lang is negative 1, no? So that's for your first limit. For the second one, we can see what happens if y equals negative 1. If y equals negative 1, ano yung mangyayari here? E di yung mga y, papalitan ko lang ng negative 1. So negative 1 plus 1 squared is 0 squared. Tapos for this one as well, I have 0 squared. So I'm left with the limit in terms of x. So ang ititira ko na lang dito is yung x approaches 1. So this boils down to x minus 1 squared over x minus 1 squared. I can cancel out yung x minus 1 squared. Ang matitira na lang ay 1. No? So limit ni 1 as x approaches 1 should be 1. What do we see here? Meron akong dalawang curve passing through the point 1, negative 1. Tapos, yung dalawang yun gave me different limits. So what does that mean? Dahil hindi equal yung limits along the curve C and C prime, automatically hindi na rin nag-exist yung limit ni f as xy approaches 1, negative 1. So compared from the first example, dito nag-rely tayo with two paths, no? Kasi hindi naman natin napakita na yung limit along a certain path does not exist. Ang pinakita natin is, for the first path, may nakuha akong limit. For the second curve, may nakita akong limit. Pero, dahil magkaiba yung limit nila, edi hindi clear kung saan pumupunta si f, kaya hindi nag-exist yung limit natin. Okay? So let's have one more example. Suppose I have 5x squared y over x squared plus y squared. Nag-exist kaya yung limit nito as x approaches 0, 0, as xy approaches 0, 0. So, similarly, pipili tayo ulit ng mga path na dumadaan sa origin. So, there's two obvious paths that pass through the origin. I have yung x equals 0 at saka y equals 0. So, let's see first what happens. If x equals 0, yung i-consider ko, edi yung nasa taas becomes 5 times 0 squared times y, edi automatically 0 to, no? So I have the limit of 0 over, so we're choosing x equals 0, so x squared becomes 0 squared, then plus y squared. And since limit na lang to in terms of y, I have y approaches 0. And observe, kahit ano naman yung y ko, this function should result to 0 kasi yung numerator ko 0 na siya, no? So no matter what, sure ako na I am computing the limit of 0 as y approaches 0, edi that should be equal to 0, no? And similarly, if I choose y equals 0, ang mangyayari lang din naman is magzi-0 yung numerator, tapos yung denominator, magiging 0 squared to, no? So I have 0 over x squared. That's a function in terms of x. So yung limit ay magiging limit as x approaches 0. And if you do that, we should get the same limit na 0. So in this case, meron akong dalawang path. Ang nakuha nating limit is same, which is 0. So ang tanong ngayon, does that mean that the limit exists? Well, sabi natin kanina, the limit exists if and only if nag-exist yung limit for any path approaching 0, 0, tapos pare-pareho yung limit. So yung keyword doon is yung for all, no? Yung keyword doon is ito, yung for all. And dahil for all yan, ibig sabihin, hindi enough na makakuha lang ako ng dalawang path, tatlo, apat, lima, so on and so forth. I need to make sure na kahit ano man yung daanan ko, parehong limit yung makukuha ko, no? So in fact, I can check kunwari itong path na to, no? So suppose I have the curve C3 defined by y equals mx, where m is any real number. What's this path right here? Observe I have a line, no? In particular, if x equals 0, I should also get y equals 0. So ito ay mga path passing through the origin. So for example, I can have yung y equals x. I can also have y equals 2x, y equals negative x, no? And what happens here? So himay-himayin natin, no? So I have y equals mx. So that means yung y dito, papalitan ko ng mx. So I have 5x squared times, ito yung mx, divided by x squared to, so it retains, plus mx quantity squared. So since puro x na lang you involve here, we drop yung y approaches 0, ang matitira is x approaches 0. Then let's just multiply. Sa taas, I have 5x squared times mx. So we're multiplying x by x squared. I should end up with an x cube. Tapos I have yung 5 here at saka m. So I have 5m x cube. Dito naman sa baba, what do I have? So I have x squared plus yung mx quantity squared. So basically, gagawin natin here is distribute yung 2 towards the products. So I have m squared times x squared. So meron ako dito x squared plus m squared x squared. Then I can factor out x squared. Ano yung matitira? So meron akong isang m squared here plus m squared na x squared. So I have m squared plus 1 times x squared. And similarly, I can cancel out x squared sa numerator and denominator. So if I do that, I have sa taas, x cubed minus x cubed divided by x squared. So that's x raised to 3 minus 2. I should end up with x na lang dito, no? Tapos, I have my 5m over m squared plus 1. Take note, yung limit naman natin ay x approaches 0. So that means yung 5m over m squared plus 1, constant lang siya, no? So I have here, dahil constant lang si 5m over m squared plus 1, pwede ko siyang ilabas. So 5m over m squared plus 1. Tapos I have limit as x approaches 0 ng x. Tapos itong limit na to, limit ni x as x approaches 0 ay equal to 0. So this constant times 0, I should end up with 0 dito, no? So what happened here? So take note yung y equals mx where m is in R. This works for any real number, no? So in fact, hindi lang tatlong curves yung na-consider natin so far. I already have an infinite number of curves na kino-consider natin. And in this case, pare-pareho na 0 yung pinupuntahan nila. However, infinite doesn't mean all. So, hindi pa talaga tayo sure kung 0 nga ba yung limit. In fact, sobrang daming curves pa na hindi ko na-consider, no? For example, hindi ko pa natitake into account kunwari si y equals x squared o yung ating parabola. That passes through 0, 0 as well, no? hindi ko pa nga rin kino-consider as well si y equals x cube that also passes through 0, 0. Pwede nga rin kunwari si uh, x equals y squared, no? That's a parabola that passes through the origin. I can also consider sina sin x, right? Sina sin x ay dumadaan din sa 0, 0. So, ano yung sinasabi ko here? Sobrang dami pa nating path na pwedeng i-consider on top of this infinite number of curves na na-consider na natin. So far, uh, it seems na papunta tayo ng 0, but we are not yet sure because we haven't really considered all possible curves. And in fact, imposible yun kasi on top of whatever I've said right now, sobrang dami pa nating curves na possibly hindi natin alam yung form na hindi ko nako-consider, no? So ano yung gusto kong sabihin here? What I want to say is that so far, meron na tayong infinite number of curves na nagpa-pass through 0, 0 that gives the same limit. So, possibly, baka nga na equal to 0 yung limit natin. But since we haven't considered every single path, we cannot say for certain na 0 nga yung limit na meron tayo. So, kung meron na tayong tamang hinala na baka 0 nga yung limit, how do we make sure na tama yung hinala natin na 0 nga talaga yung limit ni f as xy approaches 0, 0. So dito, medyo tatawid tayo into a different concept na instead of a path-dependent limit, magko-consider tayo ng path-independent na definition ng limit. And that is given to you by the formal definition of a limit. So, I believe na-discuss nyo to nung Math 21, although possibly not in complete detail, no? So, medyo i-recall ko lang kung ano yung nangyayari sa Math 21. Kailan natin nasasabi na nag-exist yung limit doon? We know that the limit exists whenever, for every epsilon daw, makakahanap tayo ng value ng delta such that ganito yung nangyayari, no? So, ang nangyayari doon is, kapag daw yung distance between a certain x value and the value a or yung ating limit point ay less than delta, dapat daw yung distance between the function value and yung limit ay less than epsilon. So parang nangyayari here is, kapag meron tayong certain value of epsilon, dapat daw makahanap tayo ng neighborhood of size delta for our x such that lahat ng function values for all the numbers within this neighborhood ay at most epsilon lang yung distance from the limit itself. So pagdating sa two variables, ganun din yung ma-observe natin, no? However, ibahin lang natin yung notion ng distance here na since we're already in two variables, we have the distance formula. So kailan natin masasabi na yung limit ni f as xy approaches the limit point x naught y naught ay equal to L? That happens whenever given any value epsilon greater than 0, makahanap tayo ng number na delta greater than 0 such that kapag daw yung distance between the point xy and x naught y naught ay isang positive number na less than delta, then dapat daw yung distance between the function value and the limit itself ay at most epsilon. So visually, ano yung nangyayari doon? So ano ba yung mga values that satisfy this inequality here? Then it should be this circular region here of radius delta, no? But since we are saying na yung distance ay positive, we remove yung center itself. And since we are requiring this one to be strictly less than delta, we are not really including yung boundary na circle itself, no? So ano yung sinasabi natin here? dapat daw for any epsilon greater than 0, so si epsilon, siya ay kapartner ng function value at saka limit dito. So ano yung sinasabi niya? Dapat daw kahit ano yung distance between yung limit and yung function value, no? Or kahit ano man yung maximum distance. In this case, we are using epsilon to be the maximum distance. So kahit gaano raw kaliit yung maximum distance between the limit and the function value, dapat daw makahanap tayo ng distance for the points xy such that if I consider all the points within this circular region, dapat yung distance between the function value and yung limit is at most epsilon. Again, ano yung sinasabi natin here? Dapat daw for any number epsilon which serves as our distance, no, for the function values away from the limit L, dapat daw makahanap ako ng distance for the point xy, siya yung delta, such that if I consider all the points within this circular region, dapat yung distance between the function value and the limit itself ay hindi lalagpas dito sa threshold na epsilon. So some remarks lang, no? By the way na kinonstruct yung definition, nauna si epsilon bago si delta. So that means yung delta na to, nagde-depend siya sa kung ano yung value ni epsilon. So for example, kung palalakihin ko tong epsilon na to, then possible na yung delta din ay lumaki, or kung paliitin ko yung epsilon distance here, dililiit din yung disk natin here of size delta na magsasatisfy nitong definition na to. So dun sa previous example, we are claiming, no, na baka nga zero yung limit natin here. So if I want to prove na zero nga talaga yung limit, I can use this definition right here. So paano natin siya gagamitin? We have any epsilon here greater than 0. So we initialize epsilon to be greater than 0. Tapos ano yung goal? Ang goal is makahanap ng delta that is positive such that masasatisfy itong condition here na if yung distance is in between 0 and delta, then dapat yung distance between f at saka yung limit value ay less than epsilon. So yun yung gagawin natin here. We initialize epsilon to be greater than 0. Tapos, pipili tayo ng delta, which for now, hindi ko pa alam, no? Tapos, let's start with the premise na if yung distance between the point xy and yung limit point, which in this case is 0, 0, ay in between 0 and delta, then, ang gusto natin mapakita is that yung f of xy, which is ito, 5x squared y over x squared plus y squared, minus yung L, which is yung limit natin, which we claim to be 0, dapat daw eventually mapakita ko na less than epsilon to, no? So, paano ko siya gagawin? I'll just do some simplifications here for now, no? So, let's simplify whatever's inside. Since I'm just subtracting by 0, I can retain yung absolute value ni 5x squared y over x squared plus y squared. So I have here absolute value of, 5x squared y over x squared plus y squared. Tapos, one of the properties ng absolute value is that I can split it through quotients, no? So, pwede ko sabihin na ito ay equal sa absolute value ni 5x squared y divided by the absolute value of x squared plus y squared. Okay? Tapos, another property of the absolute value is that pwede ko siyang split through products, no? So, dito sa taas, I have a product na 5x squared at saka y. So, I can say na ito ay equal sa absolute value ng 5x squared times absolute value ng y divided by itong sa baba, kung titingnan natin, si x squared plus y squared ay greater than or equal to 0, so is y squared. So, ibig sabihin, yung nasa loob na x squared plus y squared, siya ay greater than or equal to 0. And dahil greater than or equal to 0, yung nasa loob ng absolute value, I can drop yung absolute value itself, no? So, I have x squared plus y squared. Yeah. Then similarly, x squared is greater than or equal to 0. So that means, yung buong nasa loob na 5x squared, siya ay greater than or equal to 0 as well. So I can drop that absolute value. I have 5x squared dito. Okay? So that's the first step. I can do the following here, no? So ano yung ginawa kong step dito? Take note, si x squared plus y squared at saka si x squared, I can compare as follows, no? Si x squared plus y squared ay greater than or equal to 0. Ganon din si y squared, no? So ano yung ibig sabihin nito? That means I am adding kay x squared something that can be 0 or positive. So dapat si x squared plus y squared ay mas malaki or same lang kay x squared. And if we have this inequality here, what happens kapag kinuha ko yung reciprocal ng both sides? So what happens here? So alam natin na si x squared plus y squared ay mas malaki or same lang kay x squared. So that means dito I am dividing 1 by something na mas marami compared to this one right here. And pag mas marami yung divisions natin, yung nakukuha nating portion ay mas maliit, right? So that means si 1 over x squared plus y squared ay mas maliit or possibly same lang kay 1 over x squared. So I get this inequality here, no? So saan to nanggaling? Nanggaling siya sa fact na 1 over x squared plus y squared ay less than or equal to 1 over x squared. So I have this one right here so far, and I can cancel out yung x squared to give me yung 5 absolute value of y. So ngayon, ano yung gagawin ko to possibly get this one right here? So I'll do the following manipulations, no? So itong absolute value of y, it's just the same as absolute value of y squared, no? At ito, pwede ko siyang i-compare with x squared plus y squared. So similar dun sa kanina, we said na si x squared plus y squared, siya dapat ay mas malaki or same lang kay y squared. So if we have this property right here, edi dapat yung square root ni y squared ay mas maliit or same lang din kay square root of x squared plus y squared. Pero ano to? Observe this square root right here just reduces to x squared plus y squared. At si square root of x squared plus y squared, siya ay less than delta. So we get this one right here. Si 5, absolute value of y, same lang as 5 times square root of y squared. Tapos sabi natin, square root of y squared ay less than or equal to square root of x squared plus y squared. So we get this inequality here. And finally, since square root of x squared plus y squared ay less than delta, we say that this one right here ay less than 5 delta. Okay? So this actually is a good step na for us, no? Bakit? Because we already have the fact na si absolute value of f of xy minus yung value which we claim to be the limit is already less than a certain value, no? Let's say star. Pero ano ba yung want ko? What I want is that yung absolute value ni f of xy minus yung limit ay maging less than epsilon, no? So far, I have absolute value of f of xy minus L less than star. But in the end, what I want is absolute value of f of xy minus L to be less than epsilon. So kung gusto ko to, pwede ko na actually dayain to and say na yung star ay maging equal to epsilon. So what I want here is that dayain ko na siya na yung 5 delta maging equal to epsilon. And for me to do that, ano dapat yung maging value ni delta? E di-divide ko both sides by 5. I get delta equals epsilon over 5 dito, no? So I can choose delta to be equal to epsilon over 5 para ito maging 5 times epsilon over 5 equals epsilon. So what have we shown? We have shown na for every epsilon greater than 0, may delta tayo mahahanap such that if yung distance between xy and 0, 0 ay in between 0 and delta, then dapat yung absolute value ni f of xy minus yung L ay less than epsilon. So indeed, by definition, yung limit ni f of xy as xy approaches 0, 0 ay equal to 0. Okay? So medyo marami nangyayari here, pero as a pampalubag loob naman sa inyo, no? Hindi naman wala to sa exam, I'm sure, no? Hindi ko kayo bibigyan ng tanong sa exam where you have to prove that a limit exists, no? So sa inyong exam actually, ang gagawin nyo doon is ipoprove nyo na yung mga limit ay hindi nag-exist, no? You wouldn't do yung limit exist. So, it's just good na at least makakita man lang kayo ng overall process kung paano pinoprove to, no? But for your exam, safe. Hindi nyo to gagawin. No? Okay? So, that's what limits look like sa two variables, no? So, yung next na gusto kong i-extend is yung notion ng continuity. So, kung tatandaan nyo from Math 21, kailan natin nasasabi na continuous ang isang function? A function is continuous at a given point x equals x naught kapag una, yung function value at x naught ay defined. Pangalawa, yung limit ay nag-exist. And pangatlo, dapat yung limit at yung function value ay same lang, no? So pagdating sa two variables, ganun din naman yung ating magiging working definition. Dapat si f of x naught y naught ay defined. Yung limit as xy approaches x naught y naught ay nag-exist. And finally, yung limit and yung function value, same lang sila, no? You also had the notion of removable and essential discontinuity no Math 21, no? Ano yung definition nila? So una, you had yung removable discontinuity. Kailan siya nangyayari? That is, if yung limit ni f ay nag-exist, pero either hindi nag-exist si f of x naught or pwede namang nag-exist but the limit ay hindi equal sa function value, no? If that happens, that means meron tayong removable discontinuity. And bakit nga ba removable yung tawag dito? That's because you can resolve yung pagiging discontinuous by redefining yung function such that yung function value ay equal lang dun sa limit, no? So, kaya siya removable kasi yung pagiging discontinuous niya, pwede kong alisin by redefining the function such that at x naught, I get the function itself, no? Or the limit itself as the function value. You also had yung notion ng essential discontinuity. Saan to nanggagaling? Ito ay nanggagaling dun sa fact na yung limit ay hindi nag-exist at all, no? So, essential siya kasi basically, hindi mo na maalis yung pagiging discontinuous niya kasi down to the limit level na yung problem natin. So pagdating sa two variables, ganun pa rin. Removable discontinuity kapag nag-exist yung limit, pero either undefined si f at that point or defined si f at that point pero hindi nagtutugma yung limit at saka function value. Tapos si essential discontinuity is kapag hindi nag-exist yung limit natin. So since pareho lang naman yung definition, we expect na yung properties ng continuity from single variable ay nag-hold pa rin for two or more variables. So for example, yung sums, differences, and products ng continuous functions, sila ay continuous pa rin. Yung quotients ng continuous functions, sila ay continuous except kapag yung denominator ay hindi zero. Except kapag yung denominator ay zero rather. Composition ng continuous function, sila ay continuous pa rin. Tapos yung indeterminate forms nyo from Math 21, sila ay indeterminate forms pa rin for functions of several variables. Meron lang mga rules or theorems na hindi na nag-hold pagdating sa multivariable functions. In particular, siya ay yung L'Hopital's rule, no? So unfortunately, wala nang L'Hopital's rule pagdating sa two variables. Bakit? Kung tatandaan nyo, si L'Hopital's rule, it involves getting the derivative of a single variable function, no? Pero pagdating mo kasi sa two variable functions, since you already have x and y doon, ang tanong is, kapag kumukuha ka ng derivative, ano yung nagiging variable of differentiation natin, no? Are we differentiating with respect to x or with respect to y? So because of that, wala ng analog si L'Hopital's rule pagdating sa multivariable functions. So let's have an example here. So I have the same function kanina, si 5x squared y over x squared plus y squared. Evaluate natin siya as xy approaches 1, 2. So kung titingnan natin here, sa numerator, I have a polynomial. Sa denominator, I also have a polynomial. And what we know is that polynomials are continuous everywhere. So yung numerator at denominator, sila ay continuous. So ang problema na lang natin here is making sure na yung x squared plus y squared ay hindi magiging 0. But if I plug 1, 2 here, I will get 1 squared plus 2 squared, which is 5. So ibig sabihin nito, ang ibig sabihin nito is that hindi naman magzi-zero yung denominator. So this quotient right here of continuous functions ay continuous. And dahil continuous siya, ano yung ibig sabihin nun? I can just plug x equals 1 and y equals 2. Whatever we get here, so this is 5 times 1 squared times 2, which is 10, over 1 squared plus 2 squared, which is 5. 10 over 5 equals 2. So kung ano man yung function evaluation here, siya na rin yung limit natin, no? So gaya nung sinabi ko, properties of continuity sa single variable functions, nag-hold pa rin here. And since nasa domain naman no ating function, yung 1, 2, edi dapat yung limit ay equal lang dun sa function value itself. Okay? So let's try another example. I have xe to the xy plus cube root of y minus absolute value of xy. Explain daw natin bakit ito continuous everywhere. So dito, I have a sum of 3 functions. So if I want to show na continuous everywhere siya, explain ko lang kung bakit continuous everywhere yung bawat term here, no? So let's start with the first one. So I have xe to the xy. This is a product of x, which is a polynomial, continuous everywhere, times e to the xy. Si xy, continuous everywhere. Si e ay continuous, si e raised to a function ay continuous provided na continuous yung exponent. So that means I have a product of continuous functions here and yung first term, continuous na siya. No? Yung pangalawa, we have a radical with an odd index. So kapag odd index, that means lagi akong may makukuhang function value as long as nag-exist yung nasa loob, no? Pero yung nasa loob is just a polynomial. So that means sure akong may function value ako regardless of the value of y. So that means ito ay continuous everywhere. Finally, we have absolute value of xy. We have a composition of a polynomial, continuous everywhere. Si absolute value, continuous siya provided na continuous yung nasa loob. So in the end, ito ay continuous everywhere din. So dahil continuous everywhere, yung tatlong terms, dapat yung sum nila ay continuous everywhere. So si f of xy ay continuous everywhere. Okay lang? So this time around, let's try and improve our skills in evaluating limits, no? So as an example, let's consider yung limit ni x squared plus y squared, ln of x squared plus y squared as xy approaches 0, 0. So tingnan nga natin ano yung mangyayari here. Si x squared plus y squared, saan siya pupunta as xy approaches 0, 0? E di ito ay papunta ng 0 squared plus 0 squared. Ito ay papunta ng 0, no? Tapos, si ln of x squared plus y squared, saan siya pupunta? Siya ay pupunta ng ln of 0, which is undefined, no? However, sabi natin, si x squared plus y squared ay greater than or equal to 0. So, pwede ko sabihin na yung pagpunta ni x squared plus y squared to origin ay nanggagaling sa positive values. So, I have ln of 0 from the right here, which if you recall, no, ano ba yung graph ni ln? Pag ganito siya, no? So, as your input goes to 0 from the right, si ln pababa to negative infinity. So what do we have so far? I have 0 times infinity, which is an indeterminate form. So dahil indeterminate siya, we cannot conclude yet whether or not the limit exists. So we need to do some further investigation here. So ano yung pwede kong gawin? Observe recurring term here, si x squared plus y squared. So maybe to simplify stuff, I can define or I can let r to be equal to x squared plus y squared. So bakit gusto ko tong gawin? That's because kung papalitan ko si x squared plus y squared by r, and I have r, ln r, that is just a function in terms of one variable. So pwede kong i-carry over yung techniques na alam ko from Math 21, no? So ano na lang yung problem here? How do we convert si xy approaches 0, 0 into r approaches something? So we can do our observation kanina na as xy approaches 0, 0, si r pupunta sa 0 squared plus 0 squared, which is 0. And furthermore, dahil yung x squared plus y squared ay greater than or equal to 0, yung pag-approach ni r to 0 ay from positive values. So we can specify na r approaches 0 from the right. So ano yung mangyayari sa limit na to? Yung x squared plus y squared becomes r. So this one ay magiging r. ln of x squared plus y squared becomes r. So r ln r. Tapos, si xy approaches 0, 0, mapapalitan daw ng r approaches 0 from the right. So I have the limit of r ln r as r approaches 0 from the right, which we said just yields the indeterminate form 0 times infinity. So how do we deal with this? Kung tatandaan nyo before, we had a method, no? Where itong 0, parang pwede kong gawin as 1 over 0, no? Times infinity. Yung 1 over 0 goes to infinity. So, i-convert natin siya into the indeterminate form, infinity over infinity, no? Or the other way around, i-consider ko yung reciprocal nung nagpapa-infinity para if I do the same process, mako-convert siya into a 0 over 0. And what do we know about limits of these forms? Kung single variable lang, tapos I have these forms right here, I can apply yung L'Hopital's, no? So, kung titingnan nyo, basically, ang goal ko here is ma-apply si L'Hopital's, but since hindi nga siya gumagana for multivariable functions, tinatawid ko muna siya into a single variable function like this one right here. So, ano yung gagawin ko? Pwede ko isulat si R. Pwede ko isulat si R as 1 all over 1 over r para makuha ko itong term na to, no? Si ln of r divided by 1 over r. And I have the indeterminate form, infinity over infinity here. So I can apply my L'Hopital's rule. How do we do L'Hopital's rule ulit? E di kunin ko yung derivative ng taas. Derivative ni ln r ay 1 over r all over derivative ni 1 over r. Ano nga ba yung derivative nito? So si 1 over r ay same lang as r to the negative 1. Derivative nito, so kapag kinuha ko yung derivative nito with respect to r, I get negative 1 r to the negative 1 minus 1, negative 2, which is just the same as negative 1 over r squared. So I get this one right here, 1 over r all over negative 1 over r squared, which I can simplify further, no? So I have 1 over negative 1 over r squared here, which is just the same as negative r squared, no? So I have negative r squared times 1 over r. So negative r squared times 1 over r, or negative r squared over r. Tapos I can cancel in the numerator and denominator si r para matira si negative r. So ano yung limit ni negative r as r approaches 0 from the right? I get 0 lang, no? So this limit right here, after converting into a single variable function, we just end up getting a 0 limit. So ito, pwede nyong i-prove using the definition na tama nga yung limit, but for us, at the very least, enough na na-compute natin na 0 siya. No need to prove that one. Medyo masalimuot siya, no? So, let's have another example. Let's evaluate the limit of this function right here, no? So what happens if I plug x equals 0 and y equals 0? So dito, I have 0 squared plus 4. So that square root of 4 equals 2 minus 2. So 0 yung numerator. Tapos sa denominator, I have 0 squared plus 0 squared. That's 0. I get the indeterminate form na 0 over 0. So kung titignan natin, itong function here, recurring pattern ulit si x squared plus y squared. So I can do the same process kanina, or pwede naman, kahit hindi na ako mag-substitution, i-directly evaluate ko yung limit, no? So sa Math 21, you had a method na kapag merong kang gantong square root, no? Parang nagmo-multiply ka and divide by the conjugate. So ganun din yung gagawin ko here, no? Ano yung conjugate nito? It would be yung square root ng x squared plus y squared plus 4. Tapos yung negative, papalitan ko lang ng positive. So plus 2. Bakit pala ito valid method? So actually, ang care lang talaga natin is yung possibility na nagdi-divide tayo by 0, no? So alam natin na if I plug 0, 0 here, ito ay magiging equal to 0, right? Pero, if I apply the conjugate, ano lang ba yung nangyayari here? Ito ay basically yung nasa square root minus 2 plus 4. Sabi natin, if I plug 0, 0, ito yung nagiging equal to 0. So I have 0 plus 4. I'm sure na hindi ito mag-equal to 0, no? So this step right here is completely valid. Tapos, ano yung mangyayari here? Observe, I have yung difference at saka sum, no? So pwede ko tong isulat as a difference of two squares. So if I multiply this one, it would just be this square root squared minus this one squared. So ano yun? That's x squared plus y squared plus 4 minus 2 squared, which is 4. Tapos yung sa denominator, let's just keep it as is, no? So I have x squared plus y squared plus 4 minus 4. That becomes an x squared plus y squared. Tapos, observe, I have an x squared plus y squared din sa denominator. So I can cancel that. I'm left sa taas with the 1. Tapos sa baba, I have yung square root of x squared plus y squared plus 4 plus 2. So ngayon, sabi natin, ito ay not equal to 0. So I can just plug x and y there. So I have 1 over 0 squared plus 0 squared plus 4. So this is square root of 4, which is 2. Plus 2, I get 1 over 4. So clear tayo with this one. So kapag nakakita kayo ng mga ganito, no? Tapos makakuha kayo ng 0 over 0, you should recall na yung first natural step here is always multiply by yung conjugate, no? Para ma-activate natin or ma-apply yung difference of two squares na formula here, which kapag in-apply mo yun, eventually, maka-cancel out natin yung source nung 0 over 0, which is yung x squared plus y squared dito, no? And that actually ends this lesson right here. So I actually have multiple exercises here. You can try and solve them, no? For this one, you can show that the following limits does not exist. Ito, this is actually designed for Math 23, no? So meron yung tinatawag na polar coordinates, which in-skip ko na, so I don't think masosolve natin yung A and B. But yung letter C, you can try this one using yung method natin kanina where we let R to be equal to x squared plus y squared, no? Tapos finally, ito, try and determine, all of these are discontinuous functions at the origin. Just figure out kung removable or essential sila, no? So for the next meeting, hopefully makapag-meet na tayong lahat in person, no? I will now proceed with partial derivatives. So thank you everyone and keep safe, no? Lalo na sa panahon ngayon. So thank you, thank you. How do I stop this?